Hello, hello, Sagittarius. This is Miss Jones Tarot on the Hill. And I'm just coming out to talk to you about November for 2021. And I am programming your cards for November. It'll include October 31st because, well, I do 7-day weeks. And therefore, they go from Saturday to Sunday. And October 31st lands in this week. So for this month, we'll have four columns of 4 weeks. And of course, we'll have 3 rows, being where we are, what's blocking us, what our solution is. Picking a pile. I'm going to go ahead and program this deck for the additional cards for the first week of November, being the 31st through the 6th. So that we can then add that on to the end of this video. We'll do the overview and then add the first week. So now those are ready to go, and these are ready to go. Let's go ahead and do the layout. Yes, in subsequent videos you'll be able to see the cards. I apologize for that right now, but that's it for now. I will tell you all the cards I'm looking at, so not to worry. I have openings in my schedule. If you're interested in having a private reading, go ahead and go to my website, which will be down in the link below in the comments, and you can do a private reading. As always, if this resonates with you, go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe if you like. So let's go ahead and get into this reading, okay? For the first week of November, October 31st through the 6th, we are looking at the Knight of Pentacles. And the Knight of Pentacles is talking about how you're fighting for your worth and value this month, or this week. So that'll be the overriding vibe. And of course, the area in your life where you're blocked this week is the world. It's like there's a phase or a situation that's completing itself, and maybe you aren't 100% okay with completing just yet. The solution, however, looks like it's temperance. And temperance, of course, is talking about how there's always enough, and there's that moment sometimes when things are finishing up and you feel like maybe you didn't get as much as you wanted out of the process. Maybe you're finishing a class, but you don't feel like you know the information as much as you think you should. Rest assured in this moment that you're being told you do, and that while you may not feel very comfortable with it, it might be about private study, right? You might have to do a little private study on your own to get to the other side of it and get to the place where you feel confident with the information. Let that be how that sits for now. We'll get more information at the end of this video, but let's go ahead and look into what's happening for November 7th through the 13th, okay? We pulled the Page of Wands, which means you're getting more information about something that is intellectually stimulating to you and will help you know and understand more things. So there might be a new class or an advanced class that will give you more information and make you feel more deeply involved with what you're doing, okay? An area where you're blocked this particular week looks like the Queen of Wands. And the Queen of Wands is somebody usually of like mind who is some sort of inspiration to you. And sometimes we might find that one guru has outlived their use. And I know that sounds a little weird, but the truth is, uh, when you finish learning what you can from one teacher, sometimes you need a new teacher, and that's okay. It doesn't mean that they're less than awesome, or less than wonderful, or less than anything. It's that you've reached a level of understanding and capability that no longer puts you, shall we say, beneath them, but maybe you've risen to their level, and you no longer have them at that place where you don't know what you're doing, but now you do. And so before they were able to teach you a bunch of things, and now in this moment you've learned what you could from this source, and it's time to move on. That's all. So keep that in mind as we look into, we'll get more in depth with this, but that's kind of the feeling I'm getting, is that you've outgrown this particular source of information. The changeover will go quite quickly because your solution is the Eight of Wands, which tells me, boom, there's more stuff coming, and it's coming fast. So super fun. You're going to learn something, and you're going to learn it fast. It's going to be awesome. Okay, cool. So the following week will be November 14th through the 20th, and we're looking at the King of Swords being generally the vibe. There is somebody coming into your life on this week who is going to be a little bit controlling, a little bit bossy, might have some ideas about what you're doing and want to help or help. And the answer will be that you need to either like take them at face value and maybe nod and smile a bit and just let them be who they are, because the area where you're blocked is the Tower card, which tells me that it doesn't really matter what this guy does. Everything he brings up is going to fall apart anyway. So he can kind of go through his routine of trying to control the situation and act like he's got it all figured out, and push and shove and do what he do. And you're going to do, it's all going to fall apart anyway. So maybe what you should do in this moment is make a plan beyond this plan, right? So he's making his plans, and you're like, oh yeah, sure, nod, wave, sure, get it, whatever. And then back here you have like this other subplot that you're working on that is slightly different, and definitely more you, and that has more to do with who you are, because in the moment when all of these things fall apart, the answer remains the Queen of Swords, which means there's going to be somebody else who is much more in control, or yourself stepping into the role of controller. Okay? So be aware that while everything falls apart for whoever this other person is, with the male energy of and the need to be in control of every little thing, the answer remains that it's going to be you or another lady who is in complete control of the situation. Okay? So pay attention, be aware, and allow things to fall apart that you don't want to have happen anyway. Sort of like just kind of letting the catastrophe take place, because it's gonna anyway, and it's okay to not fight the flow of catastrophe in this moment. It wasn't what you wanted anyway. All right? Now we're moving on to November 21st through the 27th, and this is the Page of Swords. The Page of Swords is talking about more information about new ways to manifest the things that you want to be in control of. Interesting. And new ways to manifest power and control. But realize that power and control can be trigger words that we don't want to necessarily foster, per se. We don't want to nurture that concept of power and control. What we want to understand is responsibility is another way of talking about this stuff. And you can take on more responsibility. There will be more in power and control, which is good, because as you're the responsible party, you then now have the keys to the castle, the the ability to make your own hours, haha, and to do for yourself what you want to do. So that's kind of cool, right? And that's good because it's time, right? You've worked this hard to get this far, and now it's time, and that's okay. It's going to be great. The Knight of Cups is the next card down, and it's talking about you fighting for your heart's desire as part of the thing that's blocking you. So we're going to get more information about that because I'm not really sure how that feeds into the situation as we move forward. So it's interesting. We'll look into this and get more information about the Knight of Cups. But your solution appears to be the Lover's card. And now that can refer to a relationship that's coming up, or an ex-partner who is playing a part in the situation. But we want you to focus mostly this week on the Page of Swords. More ways to be more responsible. All right? It's going to be great. So we'll get more information on all of this. I'm going to go ahead and set these 3 weeks aside so that we can get into more in-depth on the very first week, which is October 31st through November 6th. All right? So let's do that. I have the 3 cards out, and we're going to pull up some of these cards. It's already been shuffled and cut and programmed for this, so we are ready to go. And I'm adding 6 more cards as per usual. And the cards I've added to, so the first card being where we are for this particular week was the Knight of Pentacles, right? We were fighting for our worth and value. But we need to know that the additional information includes that we'll have our wishes fulfilled in this process. So your worth and value will be honored, and that's nice. So you're going to make a decent paycheck. There will be money in the mix, okay? And you'll be able to be in a position in this week to rally the troops. So you're going to gather momentum. You're going to gather up people who support your ideas, and you will no longer be working or walking this little path yourself. You'll have people in support of you to do what you need to do, okay? And there will be things happening. It's very cool. Okay. We talked about the world being an area where you're blocked. We're talking about a possible phase of your life that's finishing. And if you don't allow it to finish, it will stop you from moving forward. We talked about the Queen of Wands, or the additional cards I pulled are the Queen of Wands and the Strength card. So this feels like you're pulling away from a relationship or something where you felt you were hanging out with like minds and everything was really on point, and yet this particular phase is done. And it's like an old partnership that was good in the moment, and it was supportive and helpful, and you got everything you needed out of it, and it's time to walk away. It is painful. There's a part of you that's like, I don't want to let go of this little iceberg, because this little iceberg, as cold as it is familiar, and we like to hang on to the things that support us in the moment, even when they stop supporting us. So even as this thing stops supporting you, I want you to know that you can maintain a relationship with that person even as you forge ahead with something new, okay? Don't allow the relationship to be dependent on the thing that you worked on together, meaning that if the project is over, that's okay. The project can be over, but you don't have to throw the person out with the bathwater, okay? So keep hold of this person. They might have more information or pointers on what you're doing, and it's okay to tap that. She would want you to be successful, and it's important for you to consider the possibility that information could be useful to you, and you don't have to do it all alone. All right? So keep looking, keep an open mind about that, because here we are in our solution pile. Over here we were talking about temperance, and we said, don't worry, There will be enough. There will be enough information. There will be enough stuff coming your way. You will have everything you need to proceed. Don't freak out. All right? And now we've also pulled the Devil card, which tells me that you have the profound capacity to sabotage yourself. You have the ability in this moment of now to just like stop yourself, sit down on the couch and do nothing. And we don't want that. We'd like you to maintain your momentum. We'd like you to pull yourself up by your bootstraps and get going. Allow the movement to be okay. Jump into the flow of what's happening in your life and just do the next right thing, okay? Because that's what the gig. That's how you move forward in this moment of now, is you have to just sort of make a list of 3 things to do each day and do them. And then make another list. The list should change and alter. You could have an entire week of 3 things to do all 7 days, and you do 3 things on one day that mean that the next 3 things have changed. And that's okay. You change them and you work them out and you work on the next 3 things. Every day you can do 3 things towards your goal, and it's awesome. Just break it down to smaller pieces and get going. Don't stop moving and sabotage yourself, okay? It's important because you are going to be taking your ideas and taking yourself to victory, okay? Because what you've got is something awesome. You just need to keep moving forward, okay? So that's it. You have the 6 of Wands, and the 6 of Wands is part of your solution for this week, and it just means you're headed in the right direction. Stay on course. Don't stay on the couch, okay? Excellent. Good for you, Sagittarius. We are looking forward to an active month, and I will talk to you next about November 7th through 13th. And very cool. If this resonates with you, go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe if you like. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.